Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ahlan wa sahlan. Welcome to this video, guys. My name is Zaman. We're going through Mukhtasar al-Qudoori, Hanafi Fiqh. If you guys enjoy this series, hit the like button, subscribe button, and let's get on with this thing. So, first of all, as you guys know, I explained to you guys the meanings of the words. In hadamat, it means to become destroyed, demolished. And then dar is a home. Ihtaraqa is to get burnt. Ihtaraqa yahtariku, ihtiraqan. Jaffa, to dry up. And then you got bustan, garden. Shafi is obviously the guy that is the preempting. And then you got shi'ta is to wish. Sha'a yasha'u arasa is the land. Hissa, share. Fada, leave. Wada'a yada'u, the ruler as wada'a. Nakhal, date palms. A lot of these words again, you guys, ru'ya, you know what that means. Khiyar ru'ya. You know what it means, put in the comments. Okay, and then you got mushtari bara'a is to free, is to claim, you have no problem, free of something. Wa idha ibta'a, to purchase, buy. Yanqadi is to end, expire. Iqtasama is to share. Shuraka is the sharers, aqar, the land. Jar is the neighbor. Okay, and then raddaha, taqayala is to do iqala. Alright, so again, all these words, I'm not going to write them down because I think you should know these words anyway because we've done them. Alright, let's now do tarkib. إذا هدمت الدار في الفاعل. احترق بناؤه في الفاعل. جف شجر البستان في الفاعل. بغير فعل أحد مضاف إليه. فالشفيء مبتدأ بالخيار إن شاء أخذ بجميع الثمن إن شاء ترك. وإن نقض المشتري البناء قيل الشفيء إن شئت فخذ أمر العرسة بحصتها. وإن شئت فدع فليس له أن يأخذ النقض والنقضة والنقضة. من ابتاع أرضا في الفاعل مفعول به على نخلها ثمر أخذها الشفيع بثمرها. فإن أخذها المشتري سقط عن الشفيع حصته في الفاعل. سقط is the فعل of that. وإذا قضي للشفيع بالدار ولم يكن رأى فله خيار مبتدأ مؤخر خبر مقدم. وإن Let me know if you guys enjoy me going through this tarkib. Has it really improved your tarkib skills? وإن وجد بها عيبا في الفاعل مفعول به فله أن يردها به. وإن كان المشتري شارط البراءة في الفاعل مفعول به إذا ابتاع بثمن مؤجل اسم مفعول. فالشفيع مبتدأ خيار ثمن حال يهل حال. وإن شاء صبر حتى ينقضي الأجل في الفاعل ثم يأخذها. وإذا اقتسم الشركاء الأقار مفعول به فلا شفعة لا نفي الجنس لجارهم بالقسمة جار مجرور. وإذا اشترى دارا فسلم الشفيء في الفاعل مفعول به ردها ردها المشتري بخيار رؤية أو شرط خيار رؤية أو شرط أو عيب بقضاء قاد. Now tell me why is it كسرة دي؟ فلا شفعة, it's a trick one this is. فللشفيع وإن ردها بغير قضاء قاد أو تقايلا في الفاعل. So تقايلا تقايلا فللشفيع شفعة مؤخر خبر مقدم. Okay, let's have a go at this then. So, in hadamat ad-dar. Now, these are basically what this masla is talking about. Let's say, for example, like now, I will draw this, then I will copy it. So I don't have to keep repeating it again. I think that's going to be the easiest thing to do. As you guys know, I keep on. It's the last lesson, by the way, for Shufa. Are you guys sad? Are you guys going to miss the neighbor, Mr. Raja? Okay, I'm going to miss him. So You let me know if you guys are going to miss him as well. Okay, so this is the Mushtari. This is Mr. Raja, the neighbor, and then obviously this is seller. Let's call him Zaid. Alright, so let's alright, that should be fine. So basically what happens is the Mr. Mushtari, he gets the property, okay. So he's got the property, he's got the house. Now this house, so let's say for instance, this is the timeline. January, he gets the house in July. So in this period of time, what's happened is the house has, two scenarios could have happened. Either the house got damaged on its own, so on its own it got damaged, right? So there was a great thunderstorm or there was earthquake and the house got destroyed. Right? So house got destroyed, or he did it, so it's gross negligence. Gross negligence, yeah. So in these two cases, what's going to happen? So the rule is if it got destroyed on its own, yeah, if it got destroyed on its own, then the Raja, the Shafi, he's going to have to, let me just write this down, Shafi, just in case you guys forget who the Shafi is. So if he has that, then what happens is the Shafi has to take the house for whatever price it was bought at or leave it, right? So it's like he doesn't really have a choice now. House was bought for, let's say, 200k. Yeah, 200k. He either takes it for 200k or he leaves the whole thing, right? He can't get any refund or anything because it wasn't his fault. But if there was gross negligence, if someone did something naughty, right? So if the mushtari did something naughty and he damaged it, then in that case he can get partial refund. Does that make sense? So if it was done on its own, it was what we call afatun samawiyatun, it was a natural disaster, then he doesn't get anything. He's got to pay the full price or just leave it. And if, however, there was gross negligence on behalf of the mushtari, he was the one that did it, then he gets a refund. So let's say, for example, he minuses from 200,000, 50,000, or I don't know, 100,000, whatever it's going to cost. Makes sense? So he then hadamat ad-dar. So if the house had become destroyed, or ihtaraqa bina'uhu, or the structure got burnt, or the trees in the garden became dried up and damaged. بغير فعل, without بغير فعل أحد. This is supposed to be أحد. Fix this. أحد. Right. So بغير فعل أحد فالشفيء بالخيار. الشفيء has a choice. إن شاء أخذها بجميع الثمن. He's got to pay the full price. وإن شاء تركه. Right. Otherwise he leaves it. And just lets the mushtari carry on with it. Okay, the other one, وإن نقض. Right, so if, however, نقض المشتري البناء, right, so the mushtari, he نقض البناء, gross negligence. قيل للشفي, it will be said to the shafi, إن شئت فخذ العرصة بحصتها, you can take the value of the land that the structure is on. Give that value. So let's say the value of that is, I don't know, how much does the land cost? Should we say 100,000? Yeah, 100k. 100k for the land you pay. So if you want, you can take that. وَإِن شِئْتَ, and if you want for that, then leave it. So you have a choice. You can either take it for 100,000 because gross negligence, or you just leave it. وَلَيْسَ لَهُ, and he doesn't have the right, and يَأْخُذَ النُّقْضَ, to take the rubble, right? So the demolished building, the rubble, he can't take that. He doesn't have the right to just take that. Now, maybe if he wants to buy it off the guy, that might be separate. But he can't just take it, part of the agreement. Okay, that's one masala done now. Let's look at the next masala. Okay, let's move this a bit up then. So you see how nice this masala went? Yeah, I'm surprised. Alright, you guys got it, alhamdulillah. Man ibta'a ardan ala nakhliha thamrun. Okay, so this is a similar masala. So let's say, look at that. I can bring it over here. So let's say in this case there's some trees involved there, right? So there's some trees. Draw those trees into there. Supposed to be some date palms there. Alright, so some trees there. When ibta'a ardan, so whoever buys a plot of land, so this is obviously to do with the mushtari. Mushtari goes and buys a plot of land. وَعَلَى نَخْلِهَا ثَمَرٌ, and then the date palms have fruit on there. أَخَذَ الشَّفِيء بِثَمَرِهَا, the shafi has the right to take the fruit as well. فَإِنْ أَخَذَهَا الْمُشْتَرِي سَقَطَ عَنِ الشَّفِيء. Now, if, however, the mushtari was to eat them, so he was to consume them, eat, and then the shafi got the rights, then the shafi has the right to drop them from the price. So if the price of the entire property is 200,000, he can actually drop the value of the fruit from that. So let's say the fruit costs 10,000, right, because there's a lot of it. He can minus that. Make sense? Alright, so man ibta ardan, whoever purchases a land, وَعَلَى نَخْلِهَا, and the dates have fruit on, the date palms have fruit. أَخَذَهَا الشَّفِي, shafi can take the whole thing, بِثَمْرِهَا, with its fruit. فَإِنْ أَخَذَهَا الْمُشْتَرِي, if the mushtari was to take the fruit, سَقَطَ عَنِ الشَّفِي, then the fruit drop from the shafi, according to its hissa, according to its amount. Okay, that's straightforward as well then. So let's do the next one then. Alright, let's do it on this side. Right, now, this is again, I wish I had learned this before. Look at that, how easy that is. You guys let me know, do you guys think this is easy or this is easy for me? Alright, so let's have a go at this then. How do you guys, those of you guys who teach this subject, how do you guys teach it? Do you guys use the board for teaching, or is it just you teach it verbally? How do you guys teach it? What I do is I make the students watch this, and then I make them explain exactly what I've done in class, and then ask them questions. Okay, وَإِذَا قُضِيَ لِلشَّفِيءِ بِالدَّارِ. Okay, so now, let's say the mushtari, okay, has got the property, yeah? Now, Mr. Raja has now won the case. So, this is January, and he won the case in July, gets the property, but he's never ever seen the property. Yeah, so if he hasn't seen the property, he has the right to khiyar al-ru'ya. And if the property has some faults in there, he has the rights of khiyar al-aib. Yeah, khiyar al-aib and khiyar al-ru'ya, he has both of these rights. Because remember, he's a buyer ultimately, isn't he? Even though he's going through shufa, he's still a buyer. So he still gets these rights. Right? So he says, إِذَا قُضِيَ لِلشَّفِي. So when a ruling has been passed and the judge gives a ruling to the shafi, bid-dar of the house, وَلَمْ يَكُنْ رَآهَا, whilst he has not seen it, فَلَهُ خِيَارُ رُؤْيَا, he gets khiyar ru'ya. وَإِنْ وَجَدَ, and if he finds in the property, biha, property, aiban, a fault, فَلَهُ أَنْ يَرُدَّهَا بِهِ, he has a right to return it with the aib, bihi, with the aib. We call this khiyar al-aib. Okay, even if وَإِنْ شَرَطَ الْمُشْتَرِيَ شَرَاءَ بَرَاءَةً مِنْهُ. So in other words, remember when we talked about khiyar al-aib, and there was one masla in there that if the mushtari was to buy the item from the seller and he says to him, I'll take it as it is, even if it's got 1,000,000 aibs in there, I won't give it back. So in other words, he's waived his right to khiyar al-aib. Remember that masla? It's called shart al-bara'a. Have a look back at the video, khiyar al-aib, and you'll see it there. So let me know how you understood that in the comments below. So even if the mushtari has claimed that if there's any faults in there, he's not going to give it back. Right? This is not for the shafi. Shafi does not get this right. Right? So the shafi, it doesn't apply to the shafi in the sense that the shafi does not have his right waived. The shafi still has his full right of khiyar al-aib. Right? So that was agreement between them two. It was not between them. Khalas, alhamdulillah. I think you guys have understood that now. Alright, let's go to the next one. So he says, look at that. Again, beautiful. Alright, so if the deal that was done, so let's say this is the timeline, January, July, I should have done this as well. So let's say they made a deal that he said, I'll pay you in, I'm going to pay you in December. Yeah, so he says, I'll pay you in December. And he said, okay, yeah. So now what happens with this, if Raja wins the case in July, if he wins the case in July, how does this work then? So does he also get this same privilege as well? Yeah, of the delayed period. So he says, إذا ابتاع بثمن, if the mushtari was to buy the property with ثمن مؤجل, with delayed payment, فالشفيء بالخيار, then the shafi' has a choice. إن شاء, if he wants, he can take the property بثمن حال, immediately. So he wants the case in July, he takes it in July. وإن شاء صبر, or he can wait till December, حتى ينقضي الأجل, then ثم يأخذ, then he can take the property. So either he gives it now and he gets the property, or he waits, then waits till December, then December gets the keys and gives the money. Right, so he's got two options there, one or the other. Okay, straightforward, I think. Next one. Okay, إذا اقتسم شركاء العقار فلا شفعة لجارهم بالقسمة. Okay, so this is straightforward. Imagine, for example, this is a property, right? So actually, I'll do this separately because this requires a bit messed up there. Okay, so let's say 1, 2, 3. It's 3 people who share this house, and next door neighbor they have, who is Uncle Raja. Yeah. So إذا اقتسم الشركاء, if the 3, meaning the partners, إذا اقتسم, if they divide the property aqar between themselves, that is not legitimate reason for the shafi' to have rights in there. Right? So remember we said before in the beginning of this chapter, we said it has to be a bait. There has to be a bait that takes place, physical bait exchange. So فَلَا شُفْعَةَ لِجَارِهِمْ بِالْقِسْمَةِ. So this division is not going to be counted as being a legitimate cause for the neighbor to have shuf'ah. Because for that to happen, there has to be a bait, مُبَادَلَةُ الْمَالِ بِالْمَالِ بِالتَّرَاضِي, and that technically hasn't happened here. They've just shared, right? They're sharing anyway. Okay, so that's that one then. Next one, وَإِذَا اشْتَرَى دَارًا فَسَلَّمَ الشَّفِيعُ شُفْعَةً. Okay, so what's happened over here is, I think I can get it over here. Okay, why is this not? Oh, that's better. So this is what happens. I can fit in here. All right, this is what's happened. Where's my picture? Shafi has given up his right. Yeah, so Shafi has said, you know what? It's okay. I don't want it. It's okay. Yeah, I don't want this property. So the mushtari is taking the property, and this happened, let's say, for example, January, let's say March. Yeah, in March, he gave up. He found out that the seller of the property, he gave it up. I don't want it anymore. Then what happened in July? The Shafi, he actually went, the mushtari rather, he's actually gone and he said, I want to give the property back. He's either given it back through khiyar, one of the khiyars, right? Khiyar ru'ya or khiyar shart or khiyar aib. He's given the property back, returned it. So now when he's given the property back, so it's gone back to him. If it goes through khiyar shart, yeah, Shafi does not get right. If it goes through khiyar aib, Shafi does not get a right. If he goes through khiyar ru'ya, Shafi does not get right. Right? In none of these it gets a right, because simply all of these things are returning the item. Returning the item is not considered to be a new sale. Remember we talked about this in Iqala. Remember Iqala, yeah? Go back to the video of Iqala, watch the Iqala. In there I mentioned a specific scenario about returning, about abolition, about nullifying the contract. So if any of these happen, these are not really considered to be, these are not a bait. Not a bait. There's a fourth scenario as well that I'm going to write in here as well. And that is if it's given back through a judge ruling. Judge ruling. So the judge has given a ruling and it's given back. Even there, he can't give it back. So the judge ruling, it kind of like cancels out the... So in all these cases, if he was to give it back, it will be considered to be a return and not a new contract. Right? So that's the whole point of all of these things. All these things are considered to be return, not new contracts. What is considered to be a new contract? 2 things. So gave it back without judge. Yeah, so gave it back without the judge. Or, number 1. Or number 2, he did iqala. Yeah, iqala meaning abolition. Yeah, so iqala, any of these 2, then the returning will not be counted as a returning. It's actually going to be counted as a new sale. Yeah. So this will be counted as a new sale, this will be counted as a new sale. So what's the khulasa of this? Summary of this is that if any return the mushtari has given back is due to a legitimate cause, shart, aib, ru'ya, or a judge's valid ruling, then that return is counted as a return and not a bait. Whereas if it's given back through some other means, right, without the judge's ruling, they're just kind of like out of court settlement, the mushtari goes to the seller and says, you know what, you want to give my money back? And he goes, yeah, go on, I'll give it back. Right, that will be counted as a sale. So this guy will now get shufa again. The shafi will get his shufa in these two cases. Make sense? Quite simple, yeah? Alhamdulillah. So, إِذَا اشْتَرَى دَارًا. So if this mushtari was to buy a property, فَسَلَّمَ الشَّفِي. Shafi said, okay, I don't want it. الشُّفْعَةَ ثُمَّ then رَدَّهَا الْمُشْتَرِي. Mushtari now has returned the item through one of these four ways. خيار رؤية, through خيار رؤية, أو خيار شرط, أو خيار عيب. أو عيب بقضاء قاضٍ. Yeah, so عيب بقضاء قاضٍ. Right, so through a judge. Actually, this بقضاء قاضٍ is actually not a fourth way. It's actually connected to the previous ones. Yeah, so it's an عيب through خيار عيب. So make it 3 then. So change that. Right, so let's change that into 3. So this goes back to عيب. Yeah, عيب. So that means it's only 3 really. Right, so let's delete this. Alright, so you did all of that. Then what happens? بقضاء قاضٍ فلا شفعة للشفيع. The shafi does not get any shuf'ah because there's no new sale. It's not a bait. وإن ردها بغير قضاء قاضٍ. If he gave it back in عيب without قضاء قاضٍ أو تقايلا, or they both did إقالة, then فللشفيع الشفعة. The shafi gets a shuf'ah because that return will not be counted as a return, it will be counted as a new contract. Khalas, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. That's it, guys. So let's have a look to see if you guys have understood. What have you guys understood in this? So first of all, question number 1. See, nice colors, you can tell how many masalas there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 masalas, very easy to follow. So, number 1, if a property gets damaged on its own, what does the shafi have to give? The shafi has to give the original price or leave the contract. What if gross negligence, mushtari was to damage it or do something to it? Then he gets cut off from the original price. Okay, number 3, if a person was to buy a property and he had trees and he had fruit on there, who gets the fruit? So the shafi does. And what if the fruit have been eaten by the mushtari? Then he gets cut off from the original price. Okay, if a property has been given to a shafi and he hasn't seen it or he found a fault in there, can he give it back? Yes, he can. Okay, good. If a person was to buy with immediate, was to buy something with delayed price, that he's going to give the money in December, does the shafi get the same privilege? No. He either pays now or he waits until December and pays then. Right, gets the property then. Okay, if there's multiple people that are sharing a property and they divide the property amongst themselves, is that cause grounds for shufa? No, it's not. And finally, if a person was to hand over their shufa and then the mushtari later on return the item due to shart, aib or ru'ya through a qada al-qadi, the shafi does not get a second shufa right again. When does he get a second shufa right? If it's returned without the judge's consent or through the method of iqala. Khalas, that's it, guys. Jazakumullah khair, guys, watching this video. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Thank you for all my patrons supporting my channel. You guys are wonderful, beautiful people. May Allah bless you, all of you guys. Save you from calamities, with barakah in your wealth and your health. And if any of you guys want to become patrons, support my channel, please consider it. It means a lot to me. It helps me develop these videos, produce this work. You know, if you guys enjoy this and other people enjoying it, you're going to get sadaqah jariyah, inshallah ta'ala. So consider it, and I will see you guys next time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.